Welcome into Live Now. I'm Austin Westfall. Let's get to some domestic news here. Take a look at your screen. So a second case of bird flu in a human was detected in a worker at a Michigan dairy farm where the virus had been identified in cows, federal officials said on Wednesday. Officials say that the risk to the public remains low, but the new case underscores the importance of precautions being taken among those who work closely with potentially infected animals amid a multi-state outbreak in dairy cows. To discuss this, we bring in friend of the show, infectious disease expert, Dr. Peter Chin-Hong. As always, Peter, it's good to see you. So we have this tweet here to pull up. We see the AP has been covering this. We've been covering this with you for the past month or two here. I got to ask, as I said at the top, risk remains low. So why exactly is it that bird flu keeps making headlines, doctor?
I think it keeps on making headlines because it's like, waiting for that blade to fall. And we need to be prepared. And I think that's what's happening. I think we're not that worried right now because both cases, the case in Texas last month, this case in Michigan, they've been very mild with just conjunctivitis or red eye. But I think the threat of something more serious is a real possibility. And that's because the virus has been undergoing dozens of mutations, even over the last few months. So, at some point it's going to jump to human and we're going to get human to human. So, but we're in a very different place from COVID.
And of course, when people talk about and think about infectious diseases, everybody remembers COVID and thinks about the way that it was transmitted between person to person. Can you compare and contrast how COVID is transmitted between human to human compared to, say, how transmissible bird flu is between human to human?
Yeah, so COVID is one of the most infectious agents that we have, close to measles. But right now, bird flu in its current form is blocked from entering humans very efficiently. It's kind of like forcing the door open. Whereas regular human flu gets into humans very, very easily because the key fits in. But if that bird flu H5N1 mutates and fits into the keyhole, that's when things will get, go south potentially. But we're also in a different place from COVID because we have a vaccine, we have testing, we have at least 4 drugs. It's just a matter of communication, distribution, and testing.
We've been watching the footage on our screen, lots and lots of cows. We always show these images. How is it that a disease can make its way, jump from a cow to a human?
So it turns out that in this particular outbreak, there's an extremely high viral load of influenza in the cow's milk. For some reason, it got into the milk system of the cow. And when dairy workers are exposed to such high viral loads and it splashes, that's how it's causing disease currently in this current form. And, it really speaks to needing eye protection for these dairy workers because both cases, Texas last month, Michigan today, or the last couple of days, they have been really probably from splashing of the milk.
As I mentioned, we've been covering this with you for a couple months here. Is there any reason to be more concerned about this now than, say, when we first asked you about this about 2 months ago?
I don't think we have to be concerned right now for human-to-human transmission. But what it is meaning to me is that it continues to be a wake-up call to federal agencies, to public health agencies, to the CDC, to really try to organize things. And that includes funding. And of course, the government announced $200 million, but including $28,000 per dairy farm, which some may say may not be enough because not enough dairy workers are being tested possibly for fear of financial losses in the dairy farms, which I totally understand. But we're a little bit handicapped right there. But to answer your question, it just means that we need to be organized. We need to get our ducks in a row, so to speak.
As we mentioned at the top, this new case in Michigan is prompting health officials to encourage people who work closely with potentially infected animals to remain vigilant. Is there any reason for everyday folks to be extra cautious about this at this point, or is that not the point that we're at yet?
I think the only things that I would caution people to do, your average person, is to be, watch out or be cautious around drinking raw milk or cheeses from unpasteurized milk, particularly if you're very old or very young or immune compromised. Number two, don't handle sick cows if you can help it, and certainly not dead birds. And then number three, just be on the watch out for some of these symptoms, so that, we can be just aware of it. And again, nothing to panic about, just to be aware about. That's the phase where we're at, and to advocate for more of these efforts from our public health agencies.
And did you say it was a red eye? That was how it manifested itself, and that was how it was picked up? That was the first symptom that was seen?
Yes, so in this worker, the worker is part of a surveillance group, was being tested, and that's another great point, Austin. The virus test was positive from the eyes, but not from the nose. The nose is what we typically would swab for viruses, like in COVID. So again, what this case illustrates in Michigan is that clinicians need to be aware that you need to swab more than one place to really find this virus in this present state where it's not completely mutated yet.
We talked with you not too long ago about the situation out of Texas. There was a Texas dairy farm worker, I'm reading this, who was the first human case earlier in the spring. We covered that one before. And then this Michigan worker's only symptom was that eye infection. So that would be the way, like if somebody were to perhaps get a red eye, and it is a red eye, correct? That's what you would look for?
Yes, right now it's a red eye, but given the behavior of influenza in general, if it mutates enough, and the pig is a great place for it to mutate because the pig can get infected with both human and bird flu, then you can possibly get regular symptoms of influenza, which includes muscle aches, headache, difficulty breathing. And if you drink unpasteurized milk that happen to be infected, you probably get, gastrointestinal symptoms as well.
All right, Dr. Peter Chin-Hong, as always, we appreciate your insight and analysis. Take care and have a good rest of your night.
Bye, Austin. Thank you.